Hi everyone. This is I think the ultimate in my vulnerability after all these vlogs. I'm like rolled out of bed, still drinking my coffee, dried up tears in my eyes, no makeup, it's pouring cats and dogs. I don't know if you can hear that. Um, and I'm reading this as I drink my coffee, and I'm not endorsing anything. I'm only on page 30, trying to wrap my head around everything. It's not like I woke up in a bad place with my boobs or anything like that. I'm trying to reclaim my body. But there's other life things that are going on right now that I'm like, give me a break. Like, can you just cut me some slack? Like, I have enough shit to deal with medication. Like, yesterday was the first time I couldn't remember if I took my tamoxifen or not. This is not hormonal emotional. This is emotional, like, it's been 7 months. Oh, to the day, I think. I don't even know what date today is. It's been 7 months since my mastectomy, and, life continues. Work continues, family continues, friends continue. Like, life just moves on. And then you start to have to deal with things that you had to deal with before, on top of the fact that now you're a cancer survivor, cancer thriver. I feel like there needs to be a better word for that, because survivor makes it just seem like you survived, you're good, period. It doesn't, insinuate that, like, the battle is still continuing and keeping the cancer at bay. And last night I had dinner at, like, my normal time. And I used to use a pill box on my, not box, but like a pill thing, like the Monday through Friday thing on my kitchen table. And I hated doing that. I have one in my room too, for like my first thing in the morning and last thing before bed stuff. But like the meds that I take, that they prescribed for my kidney stone a while ago, I take those in the morning with breakfast. So that's why they're on the table, so I don't forget them. But in that is my tamoxifen pill, because I take that right after dinner. And it's helped a lot with controlling my sleeping and hot flashes. I'm not overtired. I actually slept okay last night. It was the first night, like, it was 70 some degrees here yesterday, and it was the first time I've had like warm weather since I've been on the tamoxifen. So it's interesting to know what hot flashes are going to be like when it's the summer. I noticed that over in general, my face gets flushed, but or my face has just been more red than usual. Right now it's 50 degrees outside, and I have the screen door open because I just, like, can't get cool enough. Anyway, and I have my ALEXA go off every day at 7:30 p.m. to remind me to take my tamoxifen. It's a pain in the ass, and I curse her out every time she says it, but it reminds me to do it. But my pill container was in my room because I'd gone through the week and I hadn't had a chance to refill them yet. And I just picked up a refill on tamoxifen, and for whatever reason, they give me 2 bottles of it, like half in one and half in the other. So I had 3 bottles total because the one that's running out. And I know it went off, and I was texting someone, and I stopped texting, and I'm like, gotta go take my tamoxifen. But I can't remember if I ever got up to actually do it or not. And then you have to think, like, well, what am I supposed to do? Is it the kind of meds where it's okay to skip a day? Is it the kind of med where you take it right when you forget? And from what I recall, again, not a medical doctor, please don't quote me or follow my medical advice. My understanding was that you don't take it when you forget, like, just you wait till the next day. Again, please don't quote me on that, disclaimer. Because I remember the oncology nurse, I think it was, who said to me that, like, let's say that you're going away for the weekend and you're like, oh crap, I forgot my tamoxifen, what should I do? She's like, it's okay to go a weekend without it, but then just pick up where you left off when you come back. So, so I didn't take it well, I don't know if I took it last night. Took my other meds, and I'm like, I'll just take it today. And I didn't want to Google, because I'm like, I've been on the computer so much, and I think that's not helping, like, overall with me and my mood and whatever. I don't like being in front of electronics all the time. The irony that I'm on my phone. But, like, right now, I'm looking at you, which you on my phone looks like a green dot, and I just kind of picture that there's people there actually watching. But, like, looking at text, like letters and stuff on a computer or a phone for long periods of time is not working. Tamoxifen, I know one of the side effects is that it makes your vision worse. And my as you can see from my glasses, because when I put them on and, like, your face ends here, you'll never unsee it. But if you haven't seen it before, well, you're going to see it now. Just like the piece of fuzz that was in my hair yesterday. I'm like, is that the end of my highlight? I still don't even know. If you didn't watch yesterday's vlog, I wasn't going to post it. Because I'm like, how annoying. I did this vlog and I haven't done it in so long. And then when I rewatched it to make bullets and stuff about what I was talking about to put in the description, I'm like, shit, I have a piece of fuzz in my hair. It was like right there. And I still don't know if it was actually fuzz because I just got my hair cut. So and she thinned stuff out. So I'm like, maybe it was just my highlights on the end of a short piece of hair. I don't know, but whatever, it was distracting me. So I was trying to just look at my face and listen to my words and not focus on my hair. And eventually, like, I put my fingers through my hair and it went away. But that wasn't until, like, 40 minutes into the vlog. Anyway, the reason why I came on today was because I wanted to share with you a couple sentences, an analogy of what I read this morning here. Because there's been stuff going on in my personal life, not the cancer stuff, that aren't good things. And I have gone through a lot in my life. I'm not public about a lot of stuff. There's stuff I've gone through that only literally like 2 people know about. Yeah, but like I went through a divorce 7 years, or is it 7 years? It's great when you forget how long it's been, because it means like you truly have healed from it when you forget. I think it was 7 years ago or when it was finalized. But divorce is obviously very difficult. And I've gone through upheaval with work. We lost half our workforce, and that's just weird. And that's not even what I'm stressed about, and I'm not going to get into what I'm stressed about because it's personal, and that's not this kind of blog. But it's just like there's shit that pops up, and in the grand scheme of life, for me, there's been enough shit that's popped up, and I do give myself a tremendous amount of credit. Any single moms that are out there, like, oh, I have my resilience shirt on. Where is it? Here. I have so many bracelets and shirts, and I get those temporary tattoos, which I haven't had one in a very long time. I could probably get another one. Just to remind me how strong I am, and, my Wonder Woman doll, and all these things, and I don't think, I mean, obviously, unless you've walked in those shoes, but being a single parent, it's hard. It's really hard. My kids are my biggest blessing. Even though parenting is hard, they're my favorite people. I can't say because they're like clones of me, because they're not clones of me. They're their own people. But it's tough when you're a single parent and you have to make decisions about things and judgment calls, and there isn't someone else there to that gets your kids like you do as a parent to say, like, what do I do? Like, where's that instruction manual of what you do when you have a kid? You can read Dr. Spock and all that crap. I'm sorry. I call it crap because I read those things and I'm like, is it 1940? Really? No. Your gut is the best thing to follow, and that's what I've been doing. And when I hear compliments from other people about my kids, I know that I'm doing something right. When they do well in school, and it's not just academics, but like, when someone tells me something about my kid being a good person, that means a lot. That means everything to me. It's like my own report card that, like, good job, Jen. Anyway, so I've had some stuff pop up, and I'm at a junction in life right now because I've mentioned my older one is studying abroad right now, and that was a big deal to get him to do that. And my younger one is graduating from high school in a couple months. So hello, empty nesting, which is not easy. And I feel like it's more difficult when you are a single mom, especially with boys. Like my kids are they're two sons. But I find, like, especially with boys, they say that raising boys is like the longest breakup that you'll ever have, because you're loving them and raising them to be fantastic people only to get them ready for a world where they eventually leave your home. And that's, it's true. And it's tough. And it just changes, like when people have babies and they're like, when do things get better? It's like, yeah, after a while, your kid will sleep through the night and blah, blah. And like, oh, I can't wait till my kid gets older so I don't have to deal with X, Y, and Z. Yes, but you have to deal with other X, Ys, and Zs that you never thought you would have had to deal with. Anyhow, so let me get over here because I'm not doing a 40-minute vlog today. I actually have a social place to be today, although I'm going there alone with a mask, and I don't really plan on socializing. I want to go in, get my entertainment, and then leave. Our high school is doing a musical. They're doing Mamma Mia, and I love ABBA. I lip sync, or not lip sync, I do karaoke to ABBA. I have their greatest hits on CD. Anyhow, so when there's a lot piled in your lap about parenting, life, job, body, I'm not even talking about the cancer right now. I'm just saying it's everything else that's happening. And oh yeah, by the way, you're also dealing with Lupron and tamoxifen. And I'm not even thinking about the Zamanda yet because I don't have to deal with that until July. But all these other things, deal with what my boobs look like and do they hurt and how's my shoulder, healing from the surgery and all of that. And here's life put back in your lap. And how do you handle that? And then when things go wrong, when things happen that are unexpected, you're like, give me a break. Like, I've been through enough. I'll give you my small list, I guess, of things on the top of my head. Like, yes, I've been through a divorce. I was in a car accident shortly after my divorce. No, it was before my divorce was final. I had a brand new black Honda Pilot. Oh, the car was gorgeous. I love that car. Every bell and whistle I could possibly want. I was still married at the time. And I hit black ice. I lived upstate for 17 years in New York. And like snow belt, like lake effect snow. And when I'm driving in Connecticut, who apparently they don't salt their roses frequently, as other states, on this one stretch of road, I hit black ice and I wasn't going very fast and I lost control of the car and I hit a concrete median head on. Well, not really head on. It was mostly on the driver's side. But enough that the wheel fell off the car. And when my car stopped, I did all the right things of how you're supposed to turn. And I had a concussion, I think from the airbags and stuff, and whiplash from the airbags, I remember, because the side airbag went like poof into my head. And like, whatever, that took time to heal. It wasn't really very long, honestly. Concussions are messed up, man, because like you can't, like bright lights didn't work. I had to stop doing the news because the lights coming at me, it was just so bright. I was like, holy sensitivity for the concussion. I just couldn't look at it. My kids were both in the back seat, and they were obviously much younger. I insisted that my kids sit both in the back seat because I know, like, when you get into an accident that, it's the passenger side or the passenger in the car that tends to get affected the worst. And we were driving to Thanksgiving to see family. And, they both sat in the back seat of the car. And, like, out of the grand scheme of things, like, my younger one just, like, stepped out of the car like nothing ever happened. And I'm like, what? And then, like, fast forward, I mean, they had to total the car. And I had just gotten that car. I loved that car. I called it the Beast. I loved that car. It was like a badass car. And the car saved our lives. Because, the airbags went off, and that's pretty much what did most of the things in. And plus the tire fell off the car. But, like, made it through that. I hit a concrete median head on, and I made it through that. With, like, no scars or anything. Just, I have to drive a different car now. There's been a lot. I don't want to go too much into personal stuff, but there's been a lot that I've gone through. Anyway. And then the question comes up, why? Like, why? Is there something that I'm supposed to be learning? Because, holy crap, I've learned enough fucking lessons at this point. I've learned enough about life. I've gone through things that other people, like, they feel sorry. And I'm like, I don't want you to feel sorry. Like, shit just happens. But I'm like, why is it over and over again? Not that I don't have great things in my life, because I do. But I don't understand. I don't understand. Before the pandemic, I was in such a high in my life where like, things are just coming together in so many different ways. And then the pandemic happened. My extroverted self went like, like, not really extroverted anymore. And I don't know how I feel about that. But when you have all these things, like, piling and piling and piling on, it's like, when is it going to stop? I can have gratitude as much as I want, but then, like, something gets thrown at you from left field, and you're like, the fuck? Really? Like, just cut me a break. Let me go a week without news that, like, I have to sort out, like, what the hell do I do? And they're big things. They're not small things. I'm sure a lot of you can relate for different reasons. So anyway, I'm going to read this paragraph to you. The person, again, who wrote this book is a rabbi. I'm not Jewish. My last name used to be Goldman, but I'm not Jewish. I was married to someone who was Jewish. I don't know why I'm talking about that. I'm Lutheran, and I go to a Unitarian church. Pretty open-minded about religions. Anyway, it says, the Talmud, the compilation of the teachings of the rabbis between the years 200 BC and AD 500, explains Abraham's test in this way. They're talking about, like in the Bible, about games that, like, God, not literal games, that God would play. And he's talking about the story with when the Lord tested Abraham in the book of Genesis. In the chapter he's talking about, God orders Abraham to take his son Isaac, whom he loves, and offer him to God as a human sacrifice. And, like, why would you do that? Why would you do that as a kid? So the Talmud explains Abraham's test this way, and I even highlighted. If you go to the marketplace, you will see the potter hitting his clay pots with a stick to show how strong and solid they are. But the wise potter hits only the strongest pots, never the flawed ones. So too, God sends such tests and afflictions only to people he knows are capable of handling them, so that they and others can learn the extent of their spiritual strength. Granted, I didn't continue reading, because I stopped there, and I don't know, like, I'm trying to sort all this stuff out without, like, overthinking things before my brain goes kablooey. And it's funny, because I find myself to be a strong pot. Everyone has flaws. And I don't know how much I can wrap my head around, like, is this God sending messages, or is this just shit happens in life, you just have this handed to you? Sometimes I wonder if life is like the Truman Show. I'm like, is there some grandioso puppeteer who's like, here, let's do this and let's do that? If you've never watched the Truman Show, it's a very good movie. Jim Carrey's in it. And I guess I kind of gave it a spoiler, but whatever. It's a good movie. You should watch it anyway. Yeah, so is there some wise potter who is hitting this strong pot to show how strong it is? And are other people not able to handle it? And that's why life lessons aren't learned as a whole? I don't know. I mean, like, when I go on, like, social media and I see people posting things about these minuscule things that, to me, after all this shit that I've been through with my body, like, to me, like, it just doesn't matter. Like, when people are bickering about the stupidest things, I'm like, it just doesn't matter. Like, it matters to them, but, like, in the grand scheme of life and this earth, it doesn't matter. You know, when you're faced with a life and death situation, which I guess hitting a concrete barrier head on is like, I can't say my life flashed before my eyes, because I don't even remember the airbags going off. I just remember saying, hold on, to my kids. And we didn't hit hard, but hard enough that, like, the airbags all went off. And I'm like, holy shit, this could have been a lot worse. Because at the bottom, so that happened at the sort of the top of a hill. At the bottom of the hill, there was a whole bunch of accidents that were way worse than mine. Like, we went to the ER and, like, we got a room and stuff. My kids just sat on chairs. Like, I think one of them had, like, a bruised wrist or something because he held on. So maybe that wasn't the best advice. Well, I wanted to get testing and stuff. But yeah, like, you know, that could have ended very differently, and it didn't. What did it teach me? I don't know. Geico came to the rescue. I will never change my insurance. Again, they're not paying me for this, but I will never change my insurance after how much Geico helped after that whole thing. Because I continued the drive the next day to go down to see my family. And after that, I started taking Amtrak a lot. And I didn't drive so much. And I take public transit a lot more, just because it's easier. And probably safer. But, you know, when you're told you have cancer and you're having surgery and like right away, and you have to put, like, wills in place and figure out, like, if this happens, what should I do? If this happens, what should I do? Who's my healthcare proxy going to be? How do I want to, like, God forbid I don't make it. You know, how do I want to be cremated? Do I want to be buried? Do I want to be made into a tree? You know, do I want to be sprinkled over the ocean? Like, all these decisions, it's like, pow, 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 pow. And they're decisions that you need to figure out, but in a really short period of time. And have those discussions with someone that you trust to be your proxy, and make sure that you're on the same page. And then, you go into surgery and you're out. You're out. You're not aware of what the hell's happening for me for like 6 hours. What was it, 8 or something? I don't know. I don't remember anything after 7 a.m. That's when they did the nerve block. And then I woke up and it was like 4:30 or something. And I thought I was just going in and then the whole thing was over. Anything can happen. You're in surgery. It's not as common as it unfortunately is. It's still a major surgery. And, you come out and you're grateful to wake up. You're grateful just to be there. You're grateful so that you can have the chance to spend more like quality time and milestones with your kids that you didn't know the day before. Like, would I make it through to be able to spend those times with my kids? I put my hand down a snowblower chute. Did I talk about that? You'll often see me wearing a crystal. It's not diamonds. It's a crystal ring on my middle finger. And it's because I stuck my hand down a running snowblower chute. This happened towards the tail end when my divorce was happening. And I just, not thinking clearly because my divorce was happening. And I was snowblowing. And I stuck my hand in the snowblower chute to clear a jam because I was sick of using the little shovelly thing to get it out. And when I did clear it, it went like and like whacked my hand against the side. So I broke it. Had never broken a bone, but I broke my finger in a very clear break. And I was lucky as shit because I went to the ER. And they're like, where's the other half? I'm like, the other half of what? And the guy said he's never seen a snowblower injury where the other end of your finger isn't like in a Ziploc baggie on ice. And I'm like, no, my finger's here. Like, it was like ridiculously swelling. Like, holy shit, that hurt. It was really swelling. And I'm like, you just like puncture it to relieve the pressure. But he's like, no, can't do that. But now like and it's ironic because it was my middle finger. So I had like a, thing around it and I'm walking around like, hey, I broke my finger and I have this thing. And then I saw that ring a friend of mine was selling and it was around Valentine's Day and I put it on my middle finger because it fit, ironically. There was like one size of the ring and it fit like Cinderella. And it just reminds me how strong I am. But I have all these things that I wear to remind me how strong I am. And I don't want to have to be strong anymore. Like, I want to be able to just breathe and be soft and almost surrender to things that are happening. Not that I don't have control, just that, like, in a lot of things in life you don't have control. I have control of me and my reactions. But when I read this and, God sends tests and afflictions like this only to people he knows are capable of handling them. Fine, I'm capable of handling them. I am very capable. I don't doubt that for a second. I know that. But, like, why? Here's the why me. Like, why? Why do you pick me as being the one to be able to handle them? Am I supposed to be out there? Am I supposed to be doing this? Am I supposed to be vlogging and telling the world about stuff that I've gone through? And it's hard because I have my boundaries. Like, I don't talk about specific people or anything unless I have the permission. But, like, I keep a lot private, obviously. I don't want my whole life on here. This is only about the breast cancer thing. And I'm like, I've had enough. So I can learn the extent of my spiritual strength. Maybe that's what it is. I've learned the extent of my physical strength. Yeah, maybe here's what it is. I feel like I've learned the extent of my physical strength. Before I was diagnosed with fibromuscular dysplasia, I would do all sorts of frickin' fun physical things. Bungee, not bungee. I've never been bungee jumping and can't now, and don't want to. But I went zip lining and I zip lined upside down which was so fun before I knew I had FMD. And then I'm like, well, that was like not the best call, but I don't regret it for a second. Like love roller coasters and all that stuff, which I can't do anymore, but that's fine. Like I'm 50, I'd probably throw up anyway at this point, regardless. But I know the extent of my physical strength as a single mom too, you know, and a single married mom. People know what that means if you know what that means. You have physical strength because you're holding kids all the time. You're holding stuff, you're hauling stuff. You know, as a single woman in an apartment, like, you know, I've got to fix shit and do stuff, and it requires physical strength to do a lot of it. There's still certain things physically that I can't do. Here's an interesting thing I noticed that I can't do, and it's all because of my pectorals here, but like in yoga, often you touch your elbows. I can probably make it touch, but I can't really touch my, like that's some exercise that I will need to do more frequently, because holy tightness. It's like taking two bowling balls and shoving them together because you're contracting. So I know my physical strength and I know my emotional strength. I've almost become, I use the word numb a lot. I'm far less reactive than I used to be about things. I mean, everyone reacts, but I'm far less reactive than I used to be. And I consciously worked on that very hard. You know, getting that you can't control people, you can't control outcomes, you can only control yourself. And there's a point where you just have to, you know, surrender. And I don't mean surrender by giving up. I'm saying surrender by like, you don't have a control over this. So you just have to let it be. If you worry about everything, like period, you're going to freaking lose your mind, because you don't have control over those outcomes at all. And as cliche as it sounds, like you only have control over you, it's true. How stressed out do you want to be? You know, I have to watch my blood pressure, which is why I drink partly decaf coffee. You know, I have to watch things like that. And no matter what's going on, like I have to be there for other people and for myself. So I have to be consciously aware of my blood pressure and my stress level. The stress level impacts stuff with the medication too, and with cancer in general. I'm not saying I got cancer because I was stressed, but I let a lot more go than I used to. So I feel like I've like the emotional strength I have my moments. Clearly you've seen many of them through this whole vlog thing. But maybe that's something that I'm missing, is the spiritual strength. And I don't necessarily mean in a God way or like a higher power way, but more in a faith way, meaning like having faith. I have this cross I wore a lot when I was going through surgery, and when I feel like I need to be connected to a higher being or whatever. I have this cross that I got in a gorgeous church in Germany, so it has a lot of sentimental value. And then I also have like a charm kind of thing that goes over it that I got from one of our ministers at my church. She gave to me that has a cross cut out and it says faith on it. And maybe that's something that's missing with all of this for me, and maybe for you. I don't know. Maybe that's the point of what this vlog is that as strong as I am in 150,000 ways, because people tell me, and my kids, because they, you know, in a general public here, I think people know pretty much my story, not the ins and outs, but like the overall picture of my story. And they know that I'm strong, and they know that I'm resilient. If I had a penny for every time someone said, "You're so resilient," which is, yes, is a compliment, but like, I don't want to have to be resilient. I want nothing to happen that I have to be resilient. I just want like chill. This is why I like going to like the beach. I think I've kind of had my time with hiking in the woods. At points it's nice, but like yesterday I went for a hike and I'm like, I just want the birds to shut up. Or I'm walking along water and like in a pond and some animal like ducks under and I'm like, well, what animal is that? Do I need to be concerned about the animal? Whatever. To go to the beach, it's like ebbs and flows and ebbs and flows. Maybe I should go to the beach tomorrow. But maybe that's what the point is. I have to, not have to, but maybe part of the lesson in this from where I am now is that I have not learned my spiritual strength. And like, I don't really want to use the word spiritual strength really, because that doesn't really hit me closely. But I think I haven't really learned how to have faith. That like, I will heal and things will get better. And like, the pandemic is getting better. Although now I hear there's a new freaking variant in somewhere. But yeah, having faith and brighter things. I think that's what I haven't learned yet. So that's what I will focus on. I need to find some mantra, but I'm not done with the chapter yet. I just wanted to stop and share, and see what the rest of it brings. Yeah. I wonder if I should read. I don't really want to read like 3 paragraphs to you, but I feel like I'm like, leaving you guys. I'll read 1 more paragraph and that's it. Because, like, I mean, if you're super curious, you can just get the book. I mean, it's been very powerful for me in such a short period of time. So I'll just read 1 more paragraph and then I'll stop, I think. Okay. So, I'm reading right now from the book. I was the parent of a handicapped child for 14 years until his death. I was not comforted by this notion that God had singled me out because he recognized some special spiritual strength within me and knew that I would be able to handle it better. It didn't make me feel privileged, nor did it help me understand why God has to send handicapped children into the lives of 100,000 unsuspecting families every year. All right, 1 more. Writer Harriet Sarnoff Schiff am I like breaking rules by reading this? I don't know. Has distilled her pain and tragedy into an excellent book, The Bereaved Parent. She remembers that when her young son died during an operation to correct a congenital heart malfunction, her clergyman took her aside and said, quote, "I know that this is a painful time for you, but I know that you will get through it all right. Because God never sends us more of a burden than we can bear. God only lets this happen to you because he knows that you are strong enough to handle it." End quote. Harriet Schiff remembers her reaction to those words. Quote, "If only I was a weaker person, Robbie would still be alive." End quote. All right, I will stop there. Yeah. I know a lot of parents of special needs children. I know a lot of parents of children that struggle with understanding their child transitioning or identifying as gender neutral and changing pronouns and and they're open-minded parents and very supportive. But it's like, not everyone who is, realizes that they're gay has supportive parents. Is that a mistake? Are they there to teach otherwise? If only I was a weaker person, Robbie would still be alive. That's awful. I mean about a loss. But if only I was a weaker person. Do I want to be a weaker person? No. No. Do I want to have to be as strong as I am? No. And then like define weak, that brings up a whole other thing. There's something in this. There's something that's about faith. I don't know what it is. And I don't want to sit here hyper over analyzing over all of it. I just want to freaking drink the rest of my coffee and just like meditate and get out the door soon because the musical is going to be starting soon, and eat breakfast, which I haven't even done yet. I'm much kinder to myself. It's made me more compassionate with myself. I don't wish I were weaker. And I'm not saying that people that don't deal with tough stuff are weak. But it's an interesting quote. If only I was a weaker person, would these things not happen to me? I don't think so. I don't know. So maybe reading through the book will help me with that. I don't know. That's what I'm going to leave you with. I don't know. I don't know. All right. I hope this was helpful. I hear that they are. I hear that I'm inspirational. Thank you for those that say that. I don't really care what's flakes or not flakes. I know it wasn't a flake because I just had gotten my hair done. But I don't know what was with my hair the other day. Whatever. Yeah, I gotta figure it out. I don't know. And like I said, I encourage people that are watching to reach out to me and, tell me what's landing for you as I'm saying these things. You don't know what you don't know. So is there something I'm just not seeing that you're seeing? Like, Jen, yeah, this is it. I hear less of, Jen, you're being so hard on yourself. I don't hear that as much. Once in a blue moon. But I have lowered my standards and expectations of things severely. Not in a bad way, just in like, shit happens. Nothing's perfect. Look at what you have to be joyful for. So I'm going to do gratitude today. Woohoo! Because I didn't write it in my journal. I just don't like journaling. It's not working. I try. My gratitude has to happen some other way. Because I've gone through 3 different kinds of journal books and they're just not working. I don't like to write. And my finger is still sore. I don't know what the hell's going on there. I don't know. I can't worry about it. So grateful, what I'm grateful for. I was grateful this morning that to wake up to birds chirping and an open window with cool temperatures and no hot flashes last night. Not a one. My room was pretty cold. It went down to 50. I'm grateful for, I don't know if it's still there, there was a shop in Concord, Massachusetts that had a whole British theme, and they sold teacups and tea stuff made in England. China is what you call it. But I'm grateful for cutesy things like this. Isn't that pretty? I feel pretty when I feel dainty when I drink out of it. So I'm grateful that shop popped up and I could buy this cute mug because it makes me happy. And I'm grateful for ABBA because I get to listen to their music for 2 hours or whatever it is today. In a venue, with good acoustics. Is that 3? Did I do 3? I'll throw in another one. My last one is that I'm grateful that I have mushrooms in my fridge. And Swiss cheese, because I can make my own Swiss and mushroom omelet for breakfast this morning. And there's my cuckoo clock. Ha! I did it. I did a whole vlog without it going off, and then right at the end. So I'm going to leave it there. All right, everyone. Bye. See you soon.